Hello everyone, welcome to DevOps for You family. My name is Rajeshwan. Today we are going to explore more on the argocd. So, what is argocd? Argocd is a continuous deployment or continuous delivery tool that will help us to get the deployment in a better way and in a secure way. So, how the mechanism behind this, how the way it getting the update. So there will be argocd pods that will be running inside the Kubernetes cluster, and we need to map the repository to the argocd deployment. So whenever there is a change or any developer is end user is pushing the change, and we are having the branch protection policy, and all the changes will be go merge via the pull request. So whenever there is a change, the repository is being branch being pushed to the remote repository. We need to have a pull request, then it will get merged into the main branch. And once the changes is updated in the main branch, argocd is continuously watching or monitoring the repository, and if there is any changes, it will pull all the changes and it will deploy the application inside our Kubernetes cluster. Okay, let us go through the readme.md, that is the prerequisite for this deployment. The prerequisite is we need to have the following prerequisites. The first foremost prerequisite is we need to have a Kubernetes cluster, and we need to have a deployment.yaml and sevice.yaml, and we need to have a namespace created for the deployment, and that should be a publicly accessible Docker images, and we need to have a git repo, and we need to local gitbash install with branches. I have main and dev branches, and if you working on any dev or future any branches, that means the developer, they need to push the code, and someone from the organization, this is the flow for the getting the change reviewed by the pull request, then it will be get merged into the main branch. Once it update the main branch, then all the changes which we map to the argocd, that will just pull the changes and it will get deployed to the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, let us go on the action now. So I'm running a local Docker Kubernetes cluster, and let me just, and also I have the um, deployment.yaml and service.yaml, and I have a namespace.yaml that I will going to deploy in my cluster. And if I just get k by using the command prompt here, k for Kubernetes short version, k get -a. Okay, so these are the current pod that is running in my cluster, and if I get the namespace, these are the default namespace which I have, which is deployed by default. It will come with this default namespace. Okay, and I'm having the git branches. I have git bash install as per the prerequisite. If you see my prerequisite, I have the Docker Kubernetes install, and I do have a deployment YAML and service.yaml, and I will have an ns, that is namespace.yaml, that I am going to deploy. So this is the deployment.yaml. I will go through all this file. Just we will go through the prerequisites, then I will explain all the deployment.yaml and the namespace.yaml file, and also the service.yaml. So first and foremost request is the prerequisite we need to check. So I do have a Docker public repository, if you see. So this is my Docker repository, and I do have two images. Let me go here. If you see, this is the image that is Nadis, and I'm having a tag version of v001. So if you see KB Rajeshwaran Nadis, and the tag name I'm going to use is V001. And I do have another image that is in my another kid name, that is my elder. This is my elder kid and this is my younger kid. So I thought of creating an image with their names and their image, so that it will be very interesting for me to give some live images or the Kubernetes deployment with my own like family. Yeah, so this is my elder son and his name is Rishi Kumar, and I have a tag name that is V001, and this is the repository name. So the prerequisite for the next one is we have a Docker image published, and I have a Git repo for this. I have created a repo, and I will show you. I have two branches. One is main, another one is dev, and this is my Git repository. Okay, and the next one is I do have a local branches, and if I go and get Git branches, you see currently I am in the dev branch. I do have a main branch. So the way I segregated this, all the changes that I will be just going with the dev branches, then I will push these dev branches changes to my remote branch. Then I need to create a pull request and reviewed by me, then it will be get merged into my main branch. So once we have the main branch updated, then the after deployment of the argocd, it will just fetch the changes and it will deploy the pods automatically into our Kubernetes cluster. Yeah, let us go with the action now. And yeah, so now first we have a deployment.yaml. So if you see, this is just a normal deployment.yaml, and this is the app version and kind metadata namespace. I'm going to deploy this application on this namespace that is called Nadish, and the label name I'm using Nadishwaran. And currently I'm planning to have a replica of 5, the pod replica, and the selected labels and template, and this is all normal deployment.yaml this file. And here the most or I can say the main thing we need to consider here is currently I'm using Rajeshwaran Rishi this 001. So once I update this image in my later stage, I will change this to Nadishwaran, so the changes will get applied after we deploy the argocd. Okay, and this is just a service.yaml. Here I'm just the main core thing here is I'm using a node port here, so that I can able to do a I don't need a load balancer here. I will just use a kube proxy to access my service, route my service to the pods. So this is the selector name. If you see the label I'm selecting here with app Nadishwaran, and if you see in the deployment.yaml, I'll be using this template, right? I'll be using that same label to attach that pod and to this service, so that all my requests will be routed through this service.yaml, that is the node port service to my pod. Okay, and this is just a namespace.yaml. In this I'll be deploying all my application. Now let us go with the steps. So first we need to create a namespace which I'm going to deploy all my pods. So I am having an ns.yaml. So okay, I'll be using this instead of bash. I'll be using command prompt, so that k apply -f ns. So if you see, if I get, so previously if you see, there won't be any nadis. This namespace was created, and 7 second ago I have created this Nadishwaran namespace. Okay, so what is the next prerequisite? We need to deploy the argocd, so we need to just go through this github repo. So here you can able to deploy the argocd. So I'll be just going with non-HA. First we need to create a namespace for this argocd. So I'll be just creating namespace. If you see k get ns, and this is the namespace argocd that was created 6 seconds ago, and we have completed the namespace. Then we need to just deploy the argocd parts using this install.manifest file. So yeah, so if you see get pivo -n argocd, yeah, inside that one if you see there are some parts creating. Maybe I can do a watch command here so that I can able to see what's going inside the cluster. And yeah, once the pod is deployed into this argocd namespace, we need to configure, or we need to map the repo of my github to the argocd, so that the argocd will watch or monitor my repository. Yeah, I think the pod is getting created and it's running stage. Let us allow for a couple of minutes to the pods to come online. Probably get pivo -n argocd. Yeah, so you can see all the argocd parts are running now. The next step, we need to get the password for the argocd login, right? So for that I'll be just using a gitbash. Here I have that command here to just get the password in order to get the login. Yeah, so this is the password, and eventually I need to have a uh, port forward to access my argocd server, which is deployed inside my cluster. Yeah, so I'll be just using this port 8080, that will be redirect to the port 443 inside my cluster. So yeah, now if I go and I have the password here, if I do a localhost and 8080, I should get the, yeah, login for the argocd. Yeah, cool. So I need to log in with the user id and password here. Okay, so we need to first map the repository in order to fetch the or monitor the repository. So if we go to the repository, connect repository, and I'll be just selecting https, and the type is git, and the project is default, and the repository url I'll be just, okay, I need to get the url of, probably, yeah, so this is the url, and I don't need the username and password because this is a public repository. Yeah, and I think it's look good. So if I just say connect, you can able to see this is successful now, right? So now the next step is to create application. So we need to just create a new app, and the application name I can put Rishi here, and the project name I can select default, and the policy automatic, and I'll be just run on what is this one, If it check, argocd will delete resource if they no longer defined in git. That means if I'm doing any changes manually from my system inside the Kubernetes cluster, and it will delete that one, and it will ensure that all the resource what we define in the repo, that is going to run, right? And self heal, argocd, if the state is defined into the cluster, when a deviation in the cluster is detected, that means it will delete, it will ensure it will run the configuration of the pod or the state which is defined in our repository. Okay, and auto create namespace, I think we have already created the namespace. So here I need to just get this one git and the cluster url, this is okay. You can just give the path slash this one namespace, this is the namespace. Yeah, I just need to double confirm the namespace. Yeah, now this, okay, fine. And now I need to create, unable to create an application, Nadish or project does not exist. Okay, I'll select this to default. Okay, unable to error, invalid rishi is a lowercase. Okay, got it, no problem. So we need to just define this one, this time it should create. Yeah, so if you see, and this is the beauty of the argocd, so it detect or it just get the update from my main branch. And if you see in the deployment.yaml, how many pod or the replica I have defined here, I have defined 5 replica here, and the name is uh, the image version we are running rishi. That means my elder son image should pop up if I access the service. Okay, so if you see, this is the namespace and this is the service, and if you see 1 2 3 4 5 pod is running, replica I have set 5. Okay, now how to validate this one, right? We need to validate whether this is running or not, right? So we go here, and here in the service, if you see, I have defined the node port, right? The node port, there will be four, I can say four kind of service, but primarily there will be a cluster IP that will be only accessible inside the cluster, and the node port, we can expose this node port if you don't have the load balancer, but this should not be used in production. And there will be another type of service, that is the load balancer. If you have any cloud provider, you can able to use the load balancer to access your application. So now I'm running a pod inside the Kubernetes cluster with the port 80, and I have defined my service with the node port. That means if I access localhost with 3000, eventually this will route the traffic inside my cluster. Okay, so fingers crossed. If I localhost, if I give, yeah, see, welcome to DevOps Sorry channel Nginx container. So this is my elder son. So if you see his image, now I'm running a pod with 5 replica using a deployment inside a Kubernetes cluster. So I'm just running this application, right? So now if I want to change a replica, let us have two different ways to ensure that our argocd deployment is running fine. So first I will go with approach by decreasing or maybe increasing the number of replica. Okay, so I just increase the replica to 8. Fine. So here I have to just ensure I'll be in the dev branch. Okay. Yeah, I'm in dev branch. Okay. So if I have a git status, I have one change, then I need to just add, and this is just a normal git commands. Okay, I'll be adding the change and commit. I'll be putting replicas scaled from 5 to 8. Okay, so I'll be push this, and I cannot able to push all the changes directly to my GitHub repo, that is the main branch. I have a git policy enable protection branch, protection policy enable. For that I will just show you that in coming just sometime later. Okay, now I am pushing this to origin and dev. Okay, I'll be pushing this change to current branches behind its repo integrate the okay, let me hold this one. Okay, git push okay, update result because tip your current branches behind hint execute pull before pushing again. Okay, what I will do, I will just check out okay, check out b future. So I'll be just in a future branch now. Get status git push origin future. So now I'll be pushing this change to one more branch I created here. If you see, now I have three branches. One is main dev. There was some issue in the dev, so I just created a feature branch. So now I need to merge this feature branch with my main. Okay, so I have to create a pull request. Here I have to update my replica account and create a pull request. Okay, now it's checking. So if you see, this branch has no conflict with the base branch, so I have to merge to this feature branch to my main branch. And before that one, I just want to show you that currently we are running with 5 pod, right? So we need to our expected pod count here is 8 now. So this will just I think it's default 3 minutes. It will just, I will enable this one, and this will just look for the repo every 3 minutes to update the changes. Fine. So what I will do, I will go to my replica and I will create a merge request. Okay, so now if I go to my main branch, and if you see the commit, the last commit, okay, and this should be the replica. Previously it was 5 and now we have scaled that part from 5 to 8. Okay, so now you see the beauty of the argocd. So it will just wait for the, let us wait for some time, so I don't need to do any manual sync. It will be sync automatically and it will just go on fetch the update from the main branch, and it will update the pod count here with replica with 8. Okay, fine. So in meanwhile, I will show you. I will just check out to my main branch. Okay, so we'll check out main, and if you see, you are on the protected main branch. That means uh, I will just get the full origin main so that I can have the latest change from my main branch that will merge into my local. This one, if you see git log -p, so see merge, I have, there is a merge request from my future branch to this one, and if you see the command, that is replica scaled from 5 to 8. Yeah, so this is the changes. Okay, so this is the last changes, and if I try to just push directly from main branch to my repo main branch, it should not allow me. So probably I need to just edit something so that there is a changes. Okay, so I'm just deleting this one. Okay, so git status, git add, and git commit -m updated readme.mb. Okay, so I'll be reverting this one. So if you're saying, if you see there is a change, and if I try to push that directly to my main branch, it should not allow me. It should say the branch is protected, you cannot able to push. Yeah, you see, so resolving changes must be made through a pull request. That means I cannot able to directly push my changes to my main branch, so it will be via only the pull request. Okay, so now revert hard. Okay, that I have to check, but eventually if we'll go back and let me refresh. Yeah, if you see, previously it was only 5 replica, and you go here to another part. You see, we are using this image, that is the container, and the event logs, and yeah, so this is the deployment file, and if you see the deployment here, we can able to see the image name. I'm just interested in the image name. If you see Rajeshwaran Rishi V001, this is the image we are using. Okay, and also you can see we have not done anything. After 3 minutes it will go and fetch the update from the main branch, and it scale the pod from 5 to replica from 5 to 8. Okay, so now um, so what we have to do, there will be one command. I'm just looking for this one, probably git revert hard. So what I have to do here, since I don't want to, I have deleted this one, right? If you see git status, git show, I can say, and I have updated this one, right? This change. So I don't want to keep this one because all the changes needs to be made from my repo to my local. Okay, so now if you see, we have that change gone. Okay, git copy this one, comma. Okay, we're going with git. Quickly we'll go through the another one more exercise and let us wind up. Git status. Okay, git git log hyphen p. Okay, okay, fine. So what I have to do now, the next approach what we have to do is we need to update the image. So I'll be just switching this to checkout future branch. Okay, so now I need to change the image version from Rishi to Nadis. Okay, so I'll be just go and ensure that we are having the correct name. We go to repository Nadis, yeah, and NADHESH. We go here, yeah. So if I check the status, I have one git diff. So if you see, if I see the difference, previously it was Rishi, now I have changed this to Nadish. Fine. So I'll be just control X. Why it's not giving? Yeah. So now I need to push, add this, and I need to commit this in local branch, that is in my future branch. Image change it from Rishi to Nadish. Okay. So now I need to push this to my repo, that is my remote branch. Okay, yeah, so I have pushed this to my remote branch, and if I go here and if you see future, yeah, so okay, Rishi to Nadish. Okay, create a pull request. Okay, and looks good to me. LGTM, create a pull request. Okay, so now I have to merge this from my future branch to my main branch. Okay, confirm merge, done. So once this is get merged, if I go to my main branch and if I look for the deployment.yaml, and you should see Nadi's name updated. So probably I don't need to have the, I just want to see the difference. Okay, if I go and see this difference, you can able to see this is the change, and let us wait for this to happen. Okay, and how do I know that this was the image was updated? That we can check by we are having our node port that is running 3000. So this will replace my younger kid, that is Natishwaran, from Rishi to Natish. Let us wait for the change to happen. So this will go and probably I can go and sync the change manually, but I don't want to do that. So yeah, you see this is last sync is 9 minutes ago. Let us check and let us wait for, let us refresh this one. Yeah, if you see, I just refreshed, I not synced. If you see, this was synced a few seconds ago, and if you see the summary and the image name, if you see, and it should change from Nadish to Rishi to, from Rishi to Nadish. That's what I'm expecting here. Yeah, you see image name, previously it was Rishi, now it's changed to Nadish. That means if I refresh my node port, that is a localhost 3000, I should get my elder kid image here replaced by my younger kid will replace with my elder one. Yeah, yes. So if you see, this is the magic of the argocd. It will just look for the repository and it will update the changes on the inside the cluster. Yeah, let me go here, and if you see, this is the image, and I'll go here and let me go through this one. So the takeaway here is, this is the one. Yeah, so the developer will keep on pushing the branch here, the changes to the remote repository, and there won't be no direct push allowed on the main branch. So every change, every update needs to be validated or merged to the main branch via pull request. Once it get merged into the main branch, and we have the argocd pods that is running inside the Kubernetes cluster, we have mapped the repository URL, and this will watch for every 3 minutes, and it will pick the change and it will update or deploy the changes inside our Kubernetes cluster. So the takeaway is, we don't need to spend more CD tools to deploy the things inside the Kubernetes cluster. Argocd is a very easy way to implement the continuous deployment inside the Kubernetes cluster, and this is one of the very intelligent and very interesting and very famous tool that will help us with Kubernetes deployment. And thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel if you like the content. And I'm planning to have a session on Terraform. I'll be starting by this week. So from the basic, how to install the Terraform installation and what are the resources, variable, output, data, and kind of a thing. And also I'm planning to not only deploy the resources, just like if you see, I'm just working on this repository, and for the demo I'm just keeping a heads up on this. So this is just a initial stage. We can have this like for example, if I want to create a VPC, I have a network, output, and if I want to have a deploy a security group, I will have a separate file. But in real time, this is not the case. You should go with the modules in the sense it's a custom module, or there was a predefined module created. There are a lot of modules, but I have my own module I created, and I'll show you probably. So if I have this one, yeah, so if I open this one, I have created this module, kind of a structure. Okay, so if you see this one, so this will have, I'll be deploying ALB and EC2 instance and security groups, VPC, everything. I'm using my own module, so this will call the module of each and every resources. So if you see this one, I have defined a way like we are having a S3 for the Terraform state, and we will be deploying the VPC module and security group and EC2 instance and ACM, that is the certificate manager, and I'll be deploying ALB, that is the load balancer in AWS, and followed by my own domain name to deploy a EC2 with ALB with the site. Okay, so if I go through this one, so I'm working on this. Actually, I don't want to like confuse you by showing this one. Once I implement everything, it's still in progress, so probably I'll create a separate video on that one. Okay, so the today takeaway is, how can we deploy argocd and we can automate, or we can easily deploy our continuous deployment inside the Kubernetes cluster. I think you have learned something by watching this video, and if you really like the content, please subscribe and share to your friends. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Thank you.